Good afternoon on what is a grey, cloudy and cold day. It is Tuesday the 29th of November and I'm in the reading up with a nice hot cup of tea. And some parcels to unbox. Now I've already been into this one and I pulled out what turned out to be quite an interesting thing, which was this No Future Lovecraftian horror meets the punk revolution, and this is issue 1, and I've done an unboxing of this. I've done a review of it because I was that interested. It's a scenario of Lovecraftian investigative role-playing set during the 70s in Northern Ireland at the time of the Troubles for both the Gumshoe system, so therefore Trailer Cthulhu and Cthulhu Dark. But the other thing it had also in here is this, which is Revolution Lovecraftian Role-Playing in the Punk 70s, issue 2, Career Opportunities. And this is from Pent Up Press. Okay, so Career Opportunities is a scenario for Cthulhu Dark set in London's punk scene in 1977. So this isn't for Trailer Cthulhu or the Gumshoe system, although I suspect you would be easy enough to adapt its plot to the role-playing game of Lovecraftian investigative role-playing of your choice. So tonight, Friday night, 5 bands on the billing. The Busies shut down the upstairs room at the Red Lion, but Kenneth, who does the organising, found a new place. It's an old pile next to some woodlands, well out of earshot from anything, only the bodies and Muswell Hill Cemetery for neighbours. That doesn't bode well. So, side. This isn't this kind of punk style artwork. It's not carried through all the way through, I don't think. I mean, there's some sensibilities to layout and accessibility. So we've got a hook, the final horror it's dealing with in the story, and the punks, and their roles. So we've got lists there and there. They will be the investigators or player characters. So a musician, roadie, technical help, lighting engineer, promoter, producer on the mixing desk. Sorry. So you've got the sort of the band arrival. Again, it's basically setting up the stage of this this lonely, mouldering pile there. So potentially this is as good as a one-shot, or of course, you can run it as a sequel of sorts to this. And what I do like about this is that it's set during a period which really isn't explored very well in Call of Cthulhu or any role-playing game of its ilk. The nearest we get to it is the Grindhouse series of scenarios from that you can get on Drive-Thru RPG. And whilst they are good, they're inspired by Grindhouse exploitation cinema, and they have a very American feel to them. This is British and grungy and dirty, and so feels fairly different. So, stage 2 work to be done. This is getting everything ready on stage, and dealing with the various NPCs. So on other bands on the playlist, and random events that are going on elsewhere, whether it's in the basement, upstairs, and so on. And then you get to the performance itself. Cutting up, and then damn, someone's called the Rozzers or the cops. So I mean, this kind of setting is I think will be familiar to sort of like people of my age and older, who will remember the 70s and what it was like, and also have some idea of what the punk bands were playing. I was too young for punk, to be fair. I really was only 10 when at the height of punk. Living out in rural England, you didn't get to see a lot of punks anywhere, although you got reported on the news. But these days there is plenty of ways to find out about it. There's plenty of footage online. Go on YouTube, look up some of the concerts, get a feel for it, and read interviews and so on. So yeah, ultimately what will happen, the Rozzers will turn up, the horror will abate or not, depending upon whether the characters run into the house or the tunnels. And here's the outcome, depending upon whether they escape or get arrested. And at the end, we have a table for creating your own punk. Essentially, rather this isn't giving them the stats. This is the background. See, it might be it could be a grave digger or a plumber or a social worker or a stockbroker's clerk. So that's your day job, and then we have a band origins table. So a couple of you all went to the first Pistols gig at St Martin's. That's an important, and that's perfectly keeping in period. I mean, that's how a lot of other bands got started, because they saw Sex Pistols play and so on, or your drug buddies or regulars at the same pub met in the Dole queue. That would have been another thing as well. Certainly during the period, and afterwards you could actually just sort of like be paid by the government to go and do things, 40 quid a week, look for a job, but also not a lot of asking and so on. So yeah, and that's it in issue 2, career opportunities. Now, as I say, this is for Cthulhu Dark, so it's very simple, very direct kind of rules, kept really down to sort of like rolling a 6-sided die when it kind of matters. So what you've got in here in the main is plot and horrors and elements which you can bring into your game and easily support using the mechanics from the game of your choice. Anyway, so yeah, this is No Future, Lovecraftian role-playing in the punk 70s, issue 2, career opportunities. But it's a pity it's not for more rule systems, but nevertheless easily adaptable to the one of your choice. Suitable for a one-shot or a continuing sort of like mini campaign if you like. From here, especially if you're playing something like using the gumshoe rules of Trail of Cthulhu, or the rules of choice, because Cthulhu Dark tends to lend itself to one-shots rather than ongoing scenarios. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, please do click the like button down below, and of course I do appreciate you taking the time to post any comments or feedback. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a package containing a book or game which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge. In this case, it turns out to be sort of like somewhere between a fanzine and a magazine. It's not really a magazine or a fanzine. It's the production values are too high for a fanzine. It's in between what you'd call a prozine, and that's not kind of helped by the fact that I think the problem is it's sort of like there's not a lot of punk sensibility in terms of its layout and style. It's certainly not as rough as you would expect from those fanzines of the day. So yeah, it's more of a prozine than sort of like a fanzine or a magazine. Plus, of course, it's one scenario. It's not a it's not sort of like a fanzine of well, back in the day it would have been band report, discussion and gig reports, that sort of thing, and reviews and the like. But yeah, so if you want to see me sort of like pull out sort of like books or games and unbox them and chat about them to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit that subscribe button down below. In the meantime, thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.